Hola mis amigos, this is Spanish Blueprints. My name is Joshua, and last week I uploaded a video about how I got stuck in the intermediate plateau. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing how I actually overcame this intermediate plateau. So when I was stuck in this plateau, I asked myself questions like, why is this happening to me? Why am I not fluent in Spanish yet? Why can't I understand 100% of what native Spanish speakers are saying to me? How come I am in this intermediate plateau and I can't figure out how to actually get out of it? And the answers to these questions were actually a lot less complex than I originally thought. So the main reasons why all this stuff was happening to me was because I had very poor study methods, I was getting burnt out, and because I did not know how to measure my language progress correctly. So the first big thing that actually helped me overcome this intermediate language plateau was burning out. So it was actually one of the best and worst things that could have happened to me. So physically and mentally, I was very exhausted from studying Spanish so much, and I was doing it very ineffectively. And then experiencing this burnout really made me realize that everything that I was doing beforehand was just not sustainable. And that's how I got to this point where my head was always tight and it was very difficult to concentrate and understand my Spanish speaking friends to hello talk and to even create simple sentences in Spanish. So something really had to change. And the first thing that I stopped doing was tracking how many hours that I was studying, because this was not helping me at all. So the last date that I actually stopped tracking how many hours I was studying Spanish was December 13th. And it looks like I was studied for about 2 hours. Now, once I stopped doing this, this made me a lot less stressed, and it actually gave me more time to rest as well because I wasn't pushing myself so much at nighttime. For example, where are my flashcards? For example, I can remember when I was on my bed, it was probably like at 11 p.m. sometimes or even 12 a.m. and I'm still trying to force flashcards into my brain. So like just to give you a picture of how inefficiently that I was studying, it was really terrible. So that also made me realize that I was using a lot of bad study habits that I brought from college, because that's what I did. I would stay up extremely late and just sacrifice sleep just so I could try to push more information in my brain, even though that did not necessarily work very well. So I really had to rethink what language learning actually was, because there's no way that just increasing the amount of hours that I was studying Spanish was going to give me more comprehension of Spanish vocabulary, help me understand Spanish grammar, or to help me conjugate verbs better, or to help me be a better writer in Spanish. I needed a different strategy. Another thing that helped me overcome this intermediate language plateau was not chasing after Spanish speaking fluency. And that is because I really had no idea what Spanish speaking fluency was. I mean, I had an idea from doing some research and things like that, but for me, I had no way of actually measuring that besides not making any mistakes in Spanish or when I'm speaking in Spanish, and then also how fast I would speak as well. So I thought if I spoke really fast and also if I spoke without any mistakes at all, then that meant that I was a perfect Spanish speaker. Then also I have reached Spanish speaking fluency. But as you can see right now, this goal, trying to obtain this goal, is basically impossible. So it was an unrealistic goal to try to achieve, and that made me just increase the amount of hours that I was studying Spanish to reach that fluency, which did not work at all. So everything about this goal just really wasn't really good for me, to say the least. And by not chasing perfection, I was less stressed, and then I also was less ashamed of my Spanish speaking abilities and my comprehension skills as well. I stopped seeing those things as weaknesses and saw them more as being a part of my Spanish learning journey. It was very normal to make mistakes. So I did not have to be stressed about that, and I did not have to talk very poorly about my own language skills. Then in the beginning of 2021, I started to set a lot more smaller goals that I could actually achieve. So I started to have goals like speaking out loud in Spanish, and then also using a lot of new words that I was learning when I was speaking Spanish. And one big way that I was doing that was by explaining how I was feeling all the time and explaining my emotions. And then I was also doing more reading as well. So I was reading a book called El Sicario, and then I was also listening to a ton of music as well. So this really helped me to be less stressed. I had a more, I would say, less rigid study schedule as well, because I wasn't just blocking off 2 hours to study and then I could just study whatever I wanted versus just trying to put as many study methods as possible in that 2 hour frame of my Spanish study session. After I made all these changes to my mentality about what language you're learning was actually really about, learning Spanish finally became less of a chore and more a part of my life. And I have to say, that actually was a good thing that came out of me going through this intermediate language plateau, because I was extremely dedicated and I tried so many different methods to reach my goal of speaking Spanish fluently and being able to comprehend native Spanish speakers. And I made sure that I was studying Spanish every single day. I'm really interested in learning about your experience. Let me know in the comment section below, how did you overcome this intermediate language plateau? If you're enjoying the videos that I create, you can support my channel by donando dinero, by donating money to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and the link is in the description box of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and tap or click on the screen to watch more videos about my Spanish learning journey. Nos vemos muy pronto.